Hey guys, welcome to the 9th episode, which is also a bonus episode to this series. In this video, we'll be changing the character's combat from melee to range, where he will shoot a projectile that moves towards the targeted enemy and damage them. Once again, this whole project will be in GitHub, and the link can be found in the description below. First thing we're going to do is create a 3D object that will act as a projectile. For me, I'll just use a sphere. If you have your own projectile set up already, you won't have to worry about this part. Make that object into a prefab by dragging it from the hierarchy down to the project tab and add a script to it called range projectile. Opening it up in Visual Studio, we'll add the following variables: public float called damage, public game object target, public bool target set, public string target type, public float velocity, which is set to 5, and a public bool called stop projectile. We won't need the start method, so you can go ahead and get rid of it. And in the update method, we'll create two if statements. If target, and if target is equal to null, destroy the game object. Within the statement of if target, they will transform the position equal to vector3.move towards, transform the position, target.transform the position, velocity times time.delta time. After that, we'll do 3 more if statements to check if not stop projectile, if the vector distance, which is transform the position, and target.transform the position is less than 0.5, check the target type if it's equal to minion. And if so, get the target stat script and minus its health based off the damage. We'll also have stop projectile equal to true and have the game object destroyed once it's contact with the enemy. Going back into Unity, wait for the range projectile script to load up, and I'm simply going to change the damage to 10, but this is totally up to you depending on your game. Also, make sure your enemy type on your enemy game object has the same spelling to what you wrote in the script. Now we'll modify the hero combat script that's already placed on our character. The variables we'll add at the top are public bool called perform range attack, which is set to true, public game object named projectile prefab, and a public transform called projectile spawn point. One minor change we'll make in the update method is the rotation part. Copy this chunk of code and we'll be moving it down to if hero attack type is equal to hero attack type.melee. We'll then copy the whole chunk of code and paste it right down below, and we'll tweak some values to make it suitable for range combat. The first change would have to be hero attack type to range, then the coroutine to range attack interval, and lastly perform ranged attack. Scrolling down a bit more, we'll copy and paste the I enumerator melee attack interval and do the exact same thing with changing the variables. And then one more time with the public void melee attack to public range attack. This is what we will call in the animation event later on. After that, we'll create another void named spawn range projectile, storing a string variable called type of enemy and a game object called targeted enemy object. In the if statement within the range attack, instead of damaging the enemy straight away, we'll go ahead and call this method, storing minion and targeted enemy. Going back down, have float damage equal to stat script.attack damage, as well as instantiate the projectile prefab to the spawn point.transform the position and quaternion.identity. Next, do an if statement where if type of enemy is minion, get the range projectile script within this projectile prefab and have the target type, target set equal to the type of enemy, targeted enemy object, and set to true. Back in Unity, create an empty game object as a child of the player. This will be our spawn point for the projectile, and then drag it into the script where we had the projectile spawn point variable. While you're at it, also drag the projectile prefab into the inspector right above the projectile spawn point variable. The last thing we're going to do is fix and change the animation and add the animation event we created earlier. You can see where I switched the animation on the character doing a war cry instead of a sword slash. Going to the animation itself, scroll down to the events tab and press the plus sign to wherever you want to spawn the projectile. This part is totally up to you. And in the function, you want to write range attack, which was the method we created earlier in the script. You'll also want to tick loop time to make it continuously auto attack. Click apply, and once you play the game, you can see that it spawns the projectile and it flies towards the enemy and damages them. Not sure if it's noticeable, but the rotation of the character has been fixed so he can attack fluidly. In MOBA terms, he can kite the enemy. That's pretty much all for this video. I want to say thank you and sorry again for uploading inconsistently over the past month. Don't forget to like and subscribe since the stats say most of the viewers aren't subscribed, which is kinda sad, but oh well. It will also help motivate me more and create more content in the future. This will be the last video of 2020, and I will continue next year with a lot more content planned. such as MOBA ability series, devlogs, updates, and hopefully gameplay. It's been a crazy year and I managed to hit 1.5k subs, which might not seem a lot to you, but it is a lot to me. Thank you all once again, and I hope to see you very soon. Peace.